Welcome to Checking In with Tracy and Ahil. 4 years ago, Ahil and I ditched our corporate careers in accounting and finance to go all in on short-term rentals. Since then, we've hosted over 10,000 reservations and we now manage over 60 Airbnbs across Canada. That's mostly in Ontario and all the way to the East Coast. On this channel, we share all the behind the scenes of hosting, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you're into Airbnb tips, real-life hosting stories, and how to grow your own short-term rental business, you're on the right channel. Let's get into it. So we're just about to go on an Instagram live and ask me anything session with Austin Ye, who we've known in the real estate industry, and he is a mortgage broker as well. So if you guys have any mortgage needs, definitely check him out. It's gonna be our first Instagram live. Ask me anything. So we're feeling, I guess, a little nervous. We're, nothing too crazy. I don't think we prepared too much, to be honest, since it's an ask me anything.
We just looked at all the questions. Some of the questions the host sent us in advance, and then everything else people will just ask us in the session itself.
Yeah.
So we'll just wing it.
Yeah, so I think yesterday over dinner, we just kind of went over and said, like, if these questions come up, who would take care of it? And we just kind of briefly talk about it, but it's pretty much it. So we just tested out the live just to make sure it's going well, like the stream and everything. And then now we have about 15 minutes until it goes live. And this is what Ahil does on his break.
I'm watching highlights of the game between PSG and Arsenal because Tracy made me miss it.
Would you say what are your feelings right now?
I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I just watch soccer. It just relaxes me.
Well, let's see how it goes. So a bit of a mood booster for us just before we go on the live session is that we just got the signed co-hosting agreement from a new client. So yay! We're going to ask him how he found us. We always like to know the source of our clients so that we know how to find them. We have multiple sources. It's either word of mouth through our Instagram, this YouTube channel as well, and or other things that we do in collaboration with other people in the network. So for example, this Instagram live also helps us in certain ways. So we'll figure that out. And yay, we'll be onboarding a new property once again. Okay, so we just finished the live stream. It was really fun, actually. I kind of liked how it was like rapid fire of all the questions, and most of them we were prepared for anyways, like it was on the sheet of potential questions. But yeah, what do you think was the most interesting question, or the question you liked answering the most?
That's a tough one. I think there were two questions that were good. One question being like, how do you get 5-star ratings on scale? So, like getting 5-star ratings with one or two properties, it's easy. But, getting consistent 5-star ratings with a bigger portfolio of 50, 60 units, that takes some doing. We know
that proves consistency.
Yeah, we know multiple people who've lost Superhost ever since they, scaled to 5-10 properties. And, luckily, that's something we're really proud of, not losing our Superhost status. I know it's such a small thing, and I don't even think it makes a big difference when it comes to
It's just something
revenue.
we're attached to now.
Yeah, I think it's just something that holds you accountable to a very high standard of hospitality, right? At the end of the day, maybe you will make 2% more money than people who don't have a Superhost. But I think it just holds you accountable to making sure that the guest is always right, making sure you give the best experience possible, make sure like if a cleaner is not cleaning the property properly, instead of like, kicking that can down the road, or, it just forces you to have those tougher conversations a lot sooner in the relationship.
I think it's like a badge of honor too. It's something we shouldn't care about, or not as much as we do, but yeah, no, I think so. What was the question? Let's kind of debrief with you guys. So the question was, how do you guys maintain 5-star ratings on scale? So our answer was definitely having really strong teams and systems. So I really elaborated on the fact that your cleaners really need to be trained really well to understand what your needs are. So for example, they're not just cleaning the unit, they're helping you identify issues, document issues. So even let's say they're like, hey, the toilet's broken, right? They can't just say the toilet's broken. They have to elaborate a bit about it. Like, is it not flushing? Is it not filling? Is there a crack on it? So like sending you a photo and video so that you can anticipate it, fix it, hopefully before the guest shows up. And they also should be updating you on a live basis, not leaving the property and 4 or 5 hours later telling you, hey, FYI, your house smelled like cigarettes, or FYI, your toilet's broken. So that really helps you be proactive with fixing the issue and or informing the next guest about it. Because I think the number one thing that guests really hate is when they walk into a unit and there's issues that they were not aware of. So even when it is a major issue, you're always better off just letting the guest know, FYI, this is what's happening. This is what you're going to walk into, but we're fixing it. We have someone that will come, and or here's the alternative to it.
It just shows like a lack of care on the host part, when it's especially a major issue, right?
Yeah.
Like the house smells like smoke. If you're a reasonable host, a lot of guests are actually expecting the host to be cleaning the property before them or after them, which is why, like, how could you not smell this, right? So it's always best to be proactive in your communication. Try and put yourself in the guest shoes, and try and like it really softens the blow when going into the house. The guest is already expecting a smoky smell, but they know, like, you'll make it right to them, whether that's giving a refund, sending them air fresheners, whatever it is to make the problem right.
Yeah, so because you're the host, you are held accountable to everything, which is very, very reasonable. And then the other part of how we maintain 5-star reviews is through our systems, which is through our automated messages. So how about you explain that?
Yeah, so we have a channel manager, and then again, like a lot of this can be achieved through Airbnb, but what the channel manager does, it gives you a very neat dashboard, allows you to collaborate with other people, other members on your team. So all of you have the access to the same information, right? So what it does is, for example, your check-in instructions, it will allow you to like send them at a certain time, based on a rule set, right? So one day before check-in, those check-in instructions go out. For example, if the access instructions are complicated, if the parking instructions are complicated, you can also like put a PDF together with a picture explaining where exactly to park, how exactly to get in.
With visuals, because I think a best example is sometimes we're like, park on the left side of the driveway. We think of left as if you're looking at the house from the street. But then other people will think from you're standing at the house and looking at the street, and that's your left. So then it's reversed. So the picture just makes it crystal clear, and there's no ambiguity.
And even when we write it in the instructions, left side of the driveway, when looking at from the street, people don't read it.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot easier to look at a picture and, where you have a green check mark showing where to park and a red cross showing where not to park. It just makes it easier for the guest to interpret the
Especially if, like, your guests are from overseas, they speak a different language. Airbnb can automatically translate messages. Messages get lost in translation a lot.
Again. Yeah, don't leave anything to luck or technology.
Yeah. So pictures are just the best way to go. So check-in instructions are automated. What else?
Mid-stay follow-up. So the first day after the check-in, we check with the guests, make sure everything's going okay. Someone's overlooking those messages, so it's not like, they're being sent by default. We have the ability to cancel them or reschedule them. So for example, why we would reschedule them is someone said that, hey, like my flight is delayed, so I'm not going to be checking in tonight, but I will check in 2 nights. So you don't want to be
and we're like, okay, no problem. Like that time they sent it, but then the next one, like, hey, how was your night at our Airbnb?
Right. So that's something where you want to reschedule. If there's like a major issue in the house and you're waiting for an update, you may want to reschedule it to the following day after the issue has been resolved. Or if the guest already told you, hey, this is the best experience of my life, I'm gonna leave you a 5-star, then no need to follow up.
You don't want to be redundant and robotic.
Right. Or if someone told you on the flip side, hey, like this is the most horrible experience I've ever had. This is my first time booking an Airbnb. I'll never book in. So in those cases, like, it's not worth asking people how did their first night went, in which, just directly be more problem solving oriented and just ask them, hey, how can we make this better for you? What are the issues? How can we fix them for you? Right.
So lots of personal touches are really required. And I think Ahil mentioned that someone takes care of it, and that's our virtual assistant. That's the virtual assistant that takes care of all the guest-facing front side of things. So all these messages, any ad hoc messages that come through, he needs to take care of that, and he's held accountable to making sure he's reading those messages. Like, he doesn't work for us 24 hours. So when he's off shift and he logs on, it's really important that he is reading those messages to make sure that he knows how to tailor that mid-stay follow-up.
And then finally, the last piece will be the checkout instructions that go out. Can't remember, but like 6 p.m. on the day before their checkout. And for some properties, we send an additional reminder the morning of the checkout, because the guests at those properties are notoriously late for some reason. None of them read their messages. None of them like.
We had this happen literally today. We have we say it, I think, so in our confirmation message, in our checkout message the night before. So it's sent twice already. And then on the morning of it for a third time. And then at so our checkout's 10 a.m. At 9:57 a.m. this morning. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought checkout was 11. I'm running behind, guys."
I don't know if this house like has like
It's cursed.
visual reminders as well.
Oh.
And some houses like we have an actual sign telling
Yeah.
guests what the checkout time is, but we have the fourth piece of reminder as well, and people still like look over everything
Yeah.
and tell us they thought checkout was 11 or 12.
But the checkout reminders, I think we started that, the checkout reminder on the morning of, we implemented that for properties where guests have a physical key or a garage remote that we give them at the beginning of their stay. We just want to remind them, like, please leave it behind, because it's so easy when they wake up in the morning and they're packing, it's still in their purse, in their pocket. But for those properties too, especially, we have a literal visual reminder on the door itself. So I'll insert a picture of what we do for those properties. And then I think the last thing that, I can really think of off the top of my head in terms of how we've been continuously getting 5-star reviews is our communication. So communication is one, timeliness. So responding really quickly, especially in this remote world where there's not a front desk or concierge for Airbnbs compared to a hotel. So when guests are messaging you, you have to always take the perspective they are just assuming no one's watching their phone, or they actually assume someone should be watching their phone 24/7, which during
I think
the
the
day,
worst part is like with the read receipts on Airbnb.
Oh, yeah.
When you open the message, like the guest can literally see their message has been read by the host,
Yeah.
and then that starts making them extra impatient, especially when it's something urgent as the guest being locked out of the unit and you're not
Yeah.
responding to them right away. So a simple acknowledgement such as, "Hey, I saw your message. I'm acting on it right away, but please give me 1 minute as I look into what can be done." That's very, very important.
And then it's not just, so let's use the example of someone is locked out, right? It's number one, first you want to acknowledge your message, be like, "Hey, oh my God, let me look into this right away. Give me 1 minute." You look at it, and then actually, since we have smart locks and they're connected to our phones, is we actually unlock the door. And then that's our second message right away, usually within 30 to 60 seconds. We're like, "Hey, I've unlocked the door. I'm still diagnosing the issue. Go on in, settle in, and we're going to give you next steps." So then we check their code, see, usually it's a user error. But sometimes if it's not, then we have to prepare them that, "Hey, we have a backup key. This is where it is. This is the code for it. This is how you use it. And, or I've reset a new code for you." Sometimes the way I guess the digits are laid out, some guests just have trouble entering that in some way. It's just not registering with them. And just giving them a brand new code that's in a different orientation actually solves the problem sometimes. So, just being really proactive with that, providing solutions is really important and makes guests feel really heard. In addition to that, so like, let's talk about a different situation. Let's say that the guest checks in and they're like, "Hey, there's no coffee. You said you do have coffee. What do you do?" Is then again, you just want to acknowledge the issue, tell them, check with your cleaner, be like, "Hey, is this the case? Maybe it was put somewhere else than the normal next to the coffee machine. So if it is, then great." You'd be like, "Oh, it's actually in the cabinet next to the fridge, blah, blah, blah." Great. But sometimes the cleaner is like, "Oh shoot, I actually did miss it." Then you have to figure out something, right? Be like, "Hey," whether your cleaner goes back or what we do often is we just place an Instacart order, which is usually a lot handier. And or a guest sometimes even offers, they're like, "It's okay, don't worry, I'll go grab coffee pods myself. I need to go to the grocery store anyways." You should still, as a host, you should still offer, be like, "Oh, thanks so much for offering that. I'd love to reimburse you for that." So it just really goes a long way with helping that 5-star experience. And it's such a low cost anyways. And it was going to be an expense that you were supposed to provide in the first place. All right, so to treat ourselves from the Instagram Live, which, by the way, is a big step for us. We really don't like public speaking or doing these sort of things. So we're really pushing our comfort levels, and we want to do more of it, to be honest. But we are going to go and grab some ice cream from our new favorite place that we discovered that's near us. It's a place called Nani's Gelato. We got a scoop of ice cream from it yesterday, and we just want a whole pint of it at this point. So we're just going to go grab ice cream. We already had dinner before the live session. So this is espresso Nutella.
And this is blueberry cheesecake.
So good. So we first found this brand, this chain when we were living in Toronto, so downtown
It's not
Toronto.
as crunchy.
You have to get to the bottom.
So we'll have to eat it in one sitting?
So the one that Ahil has is the blueberry cheesecake. It's really good because they put the graham cracker base of a cheesecake. They break it up into small bits so it's a crunch, and it's in that, and it's so good. I don't normally like blueberry gelato, but I love this. Good morning, guys. We are headed on our way to check up on a cleaning from a new cleaner that we are working with, because a few videos ago where we onboarded a new property and it's in a city where it's been really difficult for us to find cleaners. So we settled on a cleaner who already had issues from the get-go, but she was doing the job and really the only person that was being responsive with us. So we just continued with her. Fast forward from then and a week or two ago, she has definitely failed us, and we had to exercise extreme efforts to find new cleaners. And so, yeah, this new one seems really, really promising. And so let's go see. There's none of those red flags that we had with the first cleaner. So we're really hopeful. Honestly, if there weren't issues before and if we weren't going on vacation in a couple of days, we probably wouldn't swing by. But since we just want peace of mind, and we're just gonna go check up on it now. Alright, so we arrived. So far, first impressions are really good. So we just checked the kitchen. Floors feel good as well, so that's a bonus. I will say the one point of criticism would be the beds. I don't think the bed's staged very well. Like, it could be tucked in and everything. So may just give that feedback to her. So the cleaner, our instructions are to put out 2 towels per bed, so 4 towels in total for this home. And she put all the towels on the one bed, so we're just reorganizing it and putting it here. Nothing too major though, but we will let her know about that so that we can fix that forward. So overall impressions about this cleaner is really happy. We're definitely going to continue using her. Why I really liked her off the bat was that once she came in, she was noticing some things that our previous cleaners never mentioned. So she's just like, hey, your windows are really dirty. Your baseboards could use some touch-ups. And she sent photos of it too. So it was super clear, and I'm a sucker for that. So really good right off the bat. And then even walking in, it's a lot cleaner than what it used to be. So yeah, we're really happy. Hopefully we'll be able to continue using her. What I mean by that is hopefully she can fit us into her schedule, because she's not just an Airbnb cleaner. She definitely does a lot of people's personal homes and other sorts. So including Airbnb cleaning sometimes can be tricky for some of these cleaners that have other types of clients. So yeah, fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes. We're just gonna head out now, and yeah, I don't think we have much for the day. We are preparing to leave for vacation in a couple of days, so just gonna wrap up some of those things and do some shopping just before then. So we just decided to come by a popular coffee shop that's nearby. We love exploring coffee shops. It's kind of our guilty pleasure. So what we got a sweet scone. And it looks like they make their bakery items here too. Like, we see a whole rack of them. So hopefully it's really good. Some savory Danish and a chai latte. Our go-to drink is an oat milk latte. So we're spicing it up a bit with adding chai today.